In our world today, it's easy to see how even the smallest problem can weigh heavily on someone's heart. A single word, a small disappointment, or a passing failure can make people lose their peace. Yet, there are also those who stay calm even in the midst of storms. They face hardships with grace, not because their lives are easier, but because their hearts are bigger. A narrow heart allows pain to fill every corner, but a heart that has learned to grow through gratitude and patience has no room left for bitterness. This story is not just to listen to, it's one to reflect upon. It tells us that the size of our heart defines the size of our peace. There once lived a young man named Ryan. He was always unhappy with his life. Each morning felt heavy, and each night was filled with worry. He had no stable job. His family constantly reminded him of responsibilities, and the fear of failure followed him like a shadow. Everything seemed wrong, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find joy. One afternoon, tired of overthinking, Ryan went to a small cafe in town. He sat quietly in a corner, holding a cup of tea, lost in thought. At the next table, a few older men were talking. Their voices were calm yet full of experience. Ryan didn't mean to listen, but one sentence caught his attention. One man said, "Do you know the old man who lives behind the hills? My son once lost all hope, but after talking to him, he completely changed. They say his words can lighten your heart." Another nodded. "Yes, he's not rich or powerful, but his wisdom can bring peace to anyone who listens." Ryan looked up. For the first time in a long while, he felt a spark of curiosity. Could a conversation really change someone's life? Could this man help him find peace in the chaos he was living in? That evening, with nothing to lose, Ryan decided to go. He walked quietly toward the hills, where the sun was slowly setting behind the trees. After a long walk, he finally reached a small wooden house. An old man was sitting outside, looking at the horizon. Ryan bowed slightly and said, "Grandpa, my life is full of pain. No matter what I do, I feel lost and sad. Please tell me, how can I be happy?" The old man didn't respond immediately. He just smiled gently, stood up, and walked away without a word. Ryan felt confused, but waited patiently. After a few minutes, the old man returned with a glass of water and a small bowl filled with salt. He said calmly, "Take a handful of salt and put it into the glass." Ryan followed his instructions. "Now drink the water," the old man said. Ryan took a sip, made a face, and said, "It tastes awful. It's full of salt." The old man nodded, as if expecting that answer. Then he said, "Come with me." They walked together until they reached a nearby lake, calm and shining under the soft evening light. The old man gave Ryan another handful of salt and said, "Now, throw it into the lake." Ryan did so. "Now, taste the water again." Ryan bent down, scooped a little water into his hands, and drank. This time, he smiled softly. "It tastes fine," he said. "I can't taste the salt at all." "Where? Do-a-do's no home." The old man looked at him and said, "Son, pain in life is like pure salt. The amount of pain we face doesn't really change from one person to another, but what changes is where we put it. If you pour your pain into a small heart, like a glass of water, even a little suffering will make everything bitter. But if you let your heart become like a vast lake, the same pain will dissolve. It will still be there, but it will no longer control you." Ryan stood silently, letting the words sink in. The old man continued, "Your heart must grow through patience, through gratitude, and through understanding. When your patience is small, even the smallest problem feels huge. But when you learn to expand your heart to accept, forgive, and stay thankful, no hardship can truly break you." Ryan realized then that his sadness had not come from how hard his life was, but from how small his heart had become. He had spent so much time focusing on his pain that he forgot to notice the good things that still surrounded him. His family's care, the warmth of a sunset, the quiet comfort of a cup of tea. Gratitude, he understood, is not about ignoring problems. It's about giving the heart enough space so that pain no longer rules it. The old man smiled and said softly, "Everyone has problems, Ryan. No one walks this life without facing difficulties. But just as we cannot understand light without darkness, we cannot understand happiness without pain. The key is not to avoid pain, but to grow bigger than it. That night, as Ryan walked home, the air felt different. The same stars shone above him, but they seemed brighter. His problems had not disappeared, but his heart felt lighter. For the first time in years, he felt peace, not because life had changed, but because he had. So, when problems come to you, remember this story. Don't let your heart shrink into a glass. Let it widen into a lake. Be patient, be thankful, and let your heart be big enough to hold both the salt and the sweetness of life. Because peace doesn't come from a life without pain. It comes from a heart that knows how to stay calm within it.